is 6,236 verses. Now, this Holy Quran is just not no any old book that you just read. It's not no any old book that you can just get in the bookstore. It's not no any old book that they just gonna talk to you at the university. This is a heck of a book. It's not no book that you're gonna go in some of the hotels and see this book in the bookshelf. No, ain't that kind of book.
Come on.
Ain't that kind of book. So you see, this book is absolutely amazing. The word context is really interesting. The word context means the circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or ideal, and in terms of which it can be fully understood and assessed. And in this book that I mentioned to you, Muhammad the Prophet, every time that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, got a revelation, he would break out into cold sweats. And then the next thing happened, he got a revelation.
That's right.
And every time there was a problem in whatever was going on at that time, over 1,400 years ago, he got a revelation.
Come on.
So this book answers the call not only for the Arabs, but it was for back then as well as today. This book is in the chambers of a lot of judges.
That's right. That's a fact.
I don't know if it's the Shriners or the Masons. The Shriners and Masons have this book in their chamber, both of them. This book, because it answers so many. So you would think, oh, this book should be available for everyone. And this book, if it raised all of that things that I mentioned to you about their being drunkards, about their no respect for women, killing their babies, and so many other things that they were doing back then, with this book, wouldn't you want to read a book like this?
Yes, ma'am.
We should, and me and myself and Sister Marianne, one day, she had this, I call it brainiac idea, but she had a beautiful idea. And she said that why don't we read the Holy Quran in 7 days? I'm like, you crazy girl. 114 chapters.
That's right.
And we did it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So praise be to Allah. Let's give me and her a round of applause. Praise be to Allah. So this book, and it's called The Seven Manzils. So if any of you ever want to attempt to read it, please do. Mother Tanetta, she read this book from cover to cover in 7 days for years.
Yes.
Mother Tanetta, she read this book. This book has a mathematical code. One day I read about this mathematical code. Allah revealed something through me about the mathematical code of 114 surahs. And one day I pray Allah that you will be able to listen to me one day, that I will go into it. But I thank Allah very much for this opportunity to talk to you, and I hope and pray that you will pick up this book and read this Holy Quran for yourself and keep it on the shelf. And this book was the only book the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad would bring to him to speak. This book. He wouldn't bring a whole stack of books, just this book. So this book is very illuminating, and I wanted to leave you lastly, and then I'm going to bring up Brother Landon. In Surah 3, verse 47, it says, and he will teach him the book and the wisdom and the Torah and the gospel, and that he is Master Fadal Muhammad, taught the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad the book, which is this Holy Quran. And he taught him the wisdom of this book that is for us, not only for today, but in the future forevermore. And this book, Quran, Master Fadal Muhammad wrote his own Holy Quran. And the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad couldn't read Arabic, but that book is in Arabic, and he is, I'm pretty sure, is able to read Arabic right now. So brothers and sisters, I thank you, and may Allah continue to bless you, and I'm going to bring up our Brother Landon X. Assalamu alaikum.
Please keep going, my dear sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Starting off in the proper fashion, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, I bear witness that there is but one God who appeared to us in the person of Master W. Fard Muhammad. I further bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed, at minimum, the messenger of Allah, but in fact, the exalted Christ. Now you know that Christ is not Jesus' last name, right?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Christ is a title, is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
Whether you like it or not, Donald Trump is the president of the United States, is that correct?
That's right.
He won't be the president forever. He wasn't the first president. The minister said he could be the last. But there were 44 presidents before him, is that correct?
That is correct.
So a title is something that has a definition and a job description, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So when I say that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed the exalted Christ, go find out what Christ actually means.
Yes, sir.
See, Christ is one who will crush the wicked. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Who's the wicked in our world? Think about it. I'm not going to give you no hints. You live in the same United States of America that I live in. You live in the same muck and mire that I live in. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Who keeps filling that role of the wicked? You ever notice certain actors always play the same role?
That's right.
That same brother you always see on all the slave movies.
That's
That
what
brother
they
who
are.
always played the gangster. That brother who always played the Hispanic gangster. There's one brother who's on every movie, he's the Hispanic gangster. And I actually seen an interview, and I don't know the dude's name, but I saw an interview of him. He speaks perfect English. But every movie he talking about what's going on, Holmes.
And that's
But every time you look up in reality, one man,
typecast.
one people fills the role of the wicked. And that is white supremacy. To be more specific, the white man.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now I ducked a little bit.
We
Because
won't-
y'all love him.
You're okay. You're
Y'all love him. Y'all love him. It's all right. It's all right. We were trained to love him.
Come on, break it down. Break it down.
Everything in our Bible was designed in slavery to love him.
Peace.
Beautiful.
That's why some of us have a problem with the opposite sex.
Yes, sir.
That's why black men have problems with our beautiful black
Come
women.
on, teach that.
That's why some of our black women have a problem with our black men.
Yes, sir.
Because in slavery, you never saw that white man strung up on a tree
Come on. Go ahead.
with the skin whipped off his back, castrated, feet cut off, treated like a mule. You never saw that white man. Like every time you saw a master, his hair was combed, he had on decent clothes, had money in his pocket,
That's right.
he had power, he had a title, he had wealth. And then you look at your brother and he was ragged as hell. No skin on his back. And then brothers, we looked at our sister. She was often what they call the bed wench of the master. She didn't want to be that, brother. She didn't choose that.
That's right.
But that's what she was forced in. But in our minds, we saw that and we said, oh man, that's not my woman. You might not even have looked at her as a woman because of what we went through. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So when I say that this white man is forever playing the role of the wicked, it's not because he's an actor, it's because that's his nature.
And that's
So I'm going to say it again.
That's right.
All praise is due to Allah. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad is indeed the messenger of Allah, and in fact the exalted Christ. Last but not least, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the one who taught me about those two men. And when I look at him, I am so confident in who Master Farrakhan Muhammad is. I said is, I didn't say was.
Yeah.
I'm so confident in who the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is.
Yes, sir.
I said is.
Yes, sir.
I did not say was.
Is you say.
I'm so confident in who they are because when I look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I feel like I hear a divine echo of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And when I see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his actions, his duties, his accomplishments, what he produces, I feel like I'm looking at a divine reflection of Master Farrakhan Muhammad. And those three great names, I greet all of you in the words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Right now, y'all the smartest people in Los Angeles.
All right now.
This is LA, man. Y'all couldn't find any manner of foolishness to get involved in today. Some of y'all thought about it before y'all came here, but at the last minute you said, nah, let me go over there and mess with these rules. You thought about it. Some of us did some foolishness last night. but you made a beautiful decision to make up for it this morning. So once again, give yourselves a round of applause. Before I bring up our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul, Malik, Sayyid, Muhammad, I want to go back to that first thing I told you when I said that I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master W. Fard Muhammad. Now, for many registered believers, that was a hurdle to clear. That was tough for some of us, because we were never taught that God was a man.
That's right.
And then it gets even tougher when we're told that God came for the black man. See, that's where it really gets confusing for many of us. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But just like I said last week, and I'm gonna say it again, it's only two sides to that issue. It's point number 12 in the Muslim program of what the Muslims believe. Is that correct, Muslims?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
There are only two sides to point number 12.
That's right.
There's the black side, there's a white side. There's the God side, there's the devil side. There's the Farrakhan side, there's the FBI side. What do I mean by the FBI side?
Uh-oh.
Take notes if you need to.
Yes, sir.
When you go home, don't do it during the meeting, because our beloved student minister is going to be teaching real hard on a beautiful subject. I want you to Google a case file number. Every time the federal government creates a file of anything, they put a number on it. They're very organized. They're not like us. They don't go things as they want to. But look up the case file CG 25-330971. CG 25-330971. And that's where the white man admits that he looks to disrupt the Nation of Islam by trying to disprove point number 12.
That's right.
And spoiler alert, he never did. He failed.
That's right.
The date of that document is February 19, 1963. And as you see, we still here, we're still representing Master Fard Muhammad, God in the person. And at this time, I want to bring up a brother. Listen, man, Los Angeles and the West Coast in general is really the laboratory of white supremacy. This is where the gang epidemic started. This is where the crack epidemic started. This is where some of the most rebellious slaves came when they got away from the plantations. So for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to send someone out here and to trust them on this post for 25 years, it has to be someone that the minister trusts, and somebody that's capable, and somebody that got a lot of patience to deal with our raggedy behind. Do you understand? So please receive our beloved Western Regional Student Minister, Abdul, Malik, Sayyid, Muhammad. Keep it going, family.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. To that one who is the creator of all things, and to him who is the revealer of all great and sacred truths. Dear family, what a wonderful and magnificent universe we live in. This creation of all of the galaxies, the planets, the stars. This Allah, the creator of all the creatures, all living things. This wonderful and magnificent God, who is the creator of molecules and atoms and cells. Everything is relative to the struggle of the human family. I am so grateful to Almighty God, Allah, for all the servants that have been sent in a mighty line of divine. Of all his creations and the magnificence of it, Almighty God, Allah, says, but the best of my creation is the human being. Wow. That's heavy. Of all that I have created, you've seen things that make you go, my God, you're in awe over waterfalls. You may become in awe over stars and galaxies, but God said, the best of my creation is the human being, because it's in the human being that he put his indwelling spirit. Huh? And he has genetically coded the human being to be like him. No other creature have the power and the will of choice. None but the human being. The ant can't do nothing but what an ant do. A bee. You ain't never heard a bee barking. A bee has to be, can't get outside of the nature in which it is created. A bee. Some bees are born to go to different plants and flowers, and they extract nectar and leave pollen. They go to every plant and do that, but you don't see a bee trying to extract nectar from a duck. It don't have a choice. But we, man, the human being, we are the best of his creation. And I thank God for his guidance, for he's so wise that he knows how we're built, and he knows that if he don't have someone in our midst, that the devil will cause us to go astray easily. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Even Muslims in the Nation of Islam. Think you all the way with this? Yeah, okay. But I thank Allah for Abraham. I thank him for Moses. I thank him for Jesus, who is the best example of any human being that man can become one with God. I thank him for Muhammad. For Muhammad had the greatest revelation revealed to him through a book that the Caucasians in high places do not want you to read. This book that once you read it, it brings you familiar with your nature and brings you closer to Allah. If you knew the Quran, you would never call another man master. That's right. You would never call no Saudi Arabian king. Who made you king? God said, I am the king of men.
That's right.
So I can't call these princes in Saudi Arabia king. I just call them brother. Can't call you king. That's only for Allah. I will go to Great Britain and I would meet cats whose name is Lord this and Lord that. I just call them, hey man. That's right. So I thank Allah. I thank him over and over again for these wonderful servants of his. But I want to bring you some good news today. I hope you accept it as good news. The good news is that God is all wise and all knowing. He knows what was, he knows what is, and he's so knowledgeable, he predicts the future and call it prophecy. We in the Nation of Islam don't believe, please listen, that God is some spook or some spirit that can't be seen. Impossible according to his words. If God is not matter, then how can he say in the Bible, I created a man in my image? How can you say that yet you don't have one? Who told you God didn't have an image? Oh, I know who told you. The same man that enslaved you told you that. The same man that took your name, your language, your culture, and your religion. These same white people like Trump that lie every few seconds. For we are taught in the nation of Islam that any human being that won't treat you right will not turn around and teach you right.
That's right.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So if you got a no good boyfriend that won't treat you right, he's gonna lie to you.
Peace is true.
Huh?
That's right. No good.
I can't say the same to you by having a no good sister. Because there's no such thing as a naturally no good woman.
That's right. Thank you.
We are taught that any woman that is no good was made that way by some no good man.
Now who did that? No good man.
But y'all kind of crazy, sister. Look, how can you not be crazy in a world like
That's
this?
right. Insane.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
We are following a people who by nature is a liar,
Right.
a murderer, a deceiver. By nature, they built this world and they've been in power for 6,000 years, and we have been under that influence. So every one of us, including me, have a mental problem. Huh? Not the mental problem that these pharmaceuticals are saying that you have. Those are lies.
Yes, sir.
Your mental problem can be solved within the twinkling of an eye. All you need is not medicine. You just need a thorough knowledge of yourself, period. Once you know who you are, you'll pop out of these personalities that you have taken up. Sister, you ain't no whore. That ain't your nature.
That's right.
Peace is true.
That's how you act to get attention of the no good brothers.
Please, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
You ain't no pimp. You a god.
Yes, sir.
Huh? You a warrior. You a ruler.
Peace, brother man.
But you're in the personality of your slave master.
Right.
It is written
Made in America.
that all of us, to a greater or lesser degree, will take on the personality of he or she who has dominated you.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I thank Allah that in the nation we don't believe in no spook or no mystery God.
That's right.
Period.
At all.
We know and are ready to challenge the entire world that God is a man.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
If he's not a man, stop calling him he. Huh?
That's right.
If he's not a man, how can he make us in his image and after his likeness? Huh? And in the Holy Quran, for the Muslim world who said the nation of Islam don't teach true Islam. Shut up.
That's right. Say it again.
Where is your true Islam? Your world is in turmoil because of the West.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
Saudi Arabia have a sweetheart deal with a country she called the infidel, but yet we are wrong. We're in America calling the white man the devil to his face.
That's right.
And you making deals with him.
That's right.
Huh?
Bold, bold.
God in the Holy Quran said, I made Adam out of black mud. See, the world hate black people.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
The whole world got their feet on black people. The blacker you are, the more this world got their feet on you.
That's right.
Huh? Well, this whole world have made people think that black is a curse. And that's not true. With God, black is first.
That's right.
Now.
Everything came out of black. So don't worry about it. Don't be looking at your skin. Because black is not a color.
That's right.
Black is a consciousness. You can be the lightest brother or sister in the world, but more blacker than the blackest brother.
That's right.
Huh?
Thank you, sir.
If you have a black conscience,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
you don't need a black skin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I thank Allah for coming in the person of Master Father Muhammad. And I thank him for raising from among us a man that this world will soon come to know. And so will you. Don't let your eyes deceive you. Don't let your ears and your emotions deceive you by thinking that you're supposed to hear truth in some mystical, majestical, beautiful cathedral.
That's right.
Huh? I'd rather get truth next to a garbage can than to be lied to in some of these pretty churches.
That's right. That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
I'd rather become a backyard revolutionary than become a buck dancing preacher for white folk.
That's right.
Man, I'm real fired up today.
Yes, sir.
We did, brother.
I think I want to fight.
The best.
I need a good fight, man. I kind of want to swing on some folks. I want to see if these things work, you know. But not on us. Take a lot for me to hit a black man.
That's right.
In fact, nothing you say will make me hit you. Just don't touch me.
That's right.
Don't get too close when you talk, because spit, you know.
That's right.
Yeah, that's key to me in. You can talk. But bad breath and spit, I can't talk. But no, brothers and sisters, this man, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, even if you don't like it, I dare you to go study him. Go study him. Look at what he teach and have taught. Show me where he's wrong.
That's right.
And you can't show me where he's wrong out of your emotions. I'm not looking for no emotional argument with you.
That's right.
I need you to show me what you know and not what you feel.
That's right.
Well, I don't feel he's telling the truth, then I can dismiss you. But when you can say, I can show you where you're wrong, I'm humble. Show me. Because if you can't, I'm going to ratchet to tap you with some trouble.
That's right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So don't come up in the nation, don't come up in the meeting. It's okay if you come in here cautious. And it's beautiful if you come in here analytical. Beautiful.
Come on.
It's even beautiful if you're upset and mad at the teacher. I like that spirit. Because at least let me know you're going to listen to the degree where you can't wait till I slip and say something wrong.
That's right.
That's the mindset you should be in when you was in front of white folks at school.
That's right.
So I thank Allah for this man, Elijah Muhammad, and in his absence.
That's right. I do too.
There's a leader on the scene that white America and white people in general all over this planet want us to believe that there is no black leader.
That's right.
Right.
That's what they
Peace
say.
true.
Some of you have fallen victim to that because that's his job. His job is to get you to not look for a leader because he wants to settle in your head and turn you into a hybrid Negro.
Come on.
That's right.
My God.
Huh?
That's right.
We went to a black consciousness conference at Cal State Long Beach and I ain't see black nowhere.
Think about
No
it.
consciousness.
Say it again.
Huh.
We in trouble.
Wow.
Going to a black college, I didn't see no soldier brother. I saw soft men.
Come on. I bear witness.
Telling the truth, brother.
I'm like, where the soldiers at? Brother, come up to me, hi, minister. What up? Tried to put some banks. I said, what's up, brother? I thought maybe he'd slip a bit. Would you follow me this way? And I saw two other brothers come in, they holding hands, college students. And I looked at the black sisters, no men.
Come on now.
And the real soldiers are being murdered, are being set up for slaughter.
That's right.
And our sisters don't have no men. So the scripture said there was no man to till the soil.
Right.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Then there's another scripture that says, is there any help for the widow's son? I'm telling you, nation, we got a job to do.
That's
We
right.
ain't got time to be tripping on each other. I have a granddaughter and I saw no hope in her finding a black man yesterday.
Man.
That's real.
That's sad.
Real problem.
It is sad.
That's real.
And the real warriors are being set up for slaughter. So how some hybrid students gonna go help the hood?
Hey.
Think about it.
How you gonna go to the hood, man, being a woman? Hi, gang members. Stop the violence. Y'all could get pistol whooped, man.
On sight. Come on.
It's funny, but it hurts. I'm not condemning them. Even the soft ones will turn hard when they get around some real warriors.
Go ahead.
I'm not their judge. We just gotta go get next to them.
Come on.
Get them out of that twitching and switching. Come on, brother, you run with me. I'm gonna show you how to walk.
All right.
Walk like this. That's why we gotta have them on the drill team, brother.
All right. Come on.
When they're in front of real men, I don't care how they've strayed in the white man's world. Because the white man agenda is to feminize the black man.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
And to emasculate the black woman. You are more man than most brothers.
That's a fact.
Hard.
Damn.
They flipped the script.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
but
Come on.
Mama.
They letting her in and keeping you out.
right.
You taking on a feminine position even when you hard. You can't be hard to her.
That's right.
You got no job. You're dependent on her. You living off her. I hate the barbershop conversations when I hear the young brothers talking about, I'm in my girl's car.
Man.
I'm in my girl's house. I'm pimping. Nah.
Come on.
You a buster.
That's right.
A real man don't live off of a woman. Period. Period.
Come on.
Because when you try to put your foot down, she'll put you back in your place. Oh, whoa, hold on. Right. They'll tell you quick. Hey. Nigga, this 4554. Earth Street.
Come on.
My name on this. Your name ain't on nothing up in here. You ain't brought no groceries, all that. I got that. That's my EBT card.
Go ahead.
Watch yourself. What you just called me? Oh, no, hell, you that nigga get out. And before you go out, take off them shoes, nigga, I bought that, I bought that.
You gotta go. That's for real. Dismiss.
You can't man up. If you take, look, brother, dogs are trained better than that.
Yeah.
Come on.
I train dogs. And I mated dogs. Do you know in the dog world you cannot take a male to a female kennel? She'll kill it.
Wow. Come
You
on.
have to take the female to the male kennel.
Come on. Come on.
Because when she starts sniffing around, she gonna say, yeah, all this is. So if you had a mansion, if you had a car, if you bought her car, if you had enough money where she didn't have to work, and if you had wisdom wisdom to the point where you didn't have to mistreat her, but your wisdom attracted her to you.
Come on now.
Not your brute force, not you being a pimp like dude, no. Being like God.
Go ahead.
That's right.
And putting her in a place of peace where she feels secure with you. She already know you hard, but you ain't got to be hard with her.
That's right.
Right.
She like muscles, but she don't like muscle heads.
That's right. Tell them about
I thank Allah.
That was good.
There's a man on the scene.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I want y'all to check him out.
That's right.
His name is Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
He is God's servant on earth.
That's right.
There is no leader like him.
That's right.
Nowhere. In no color.
Go ahead.
Black, brown, red, yellow. Ain't but one Farrakhan.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Such a beautiful human being. He loves us so deeply
Right.
that even when we wrong, he defends us.
Come on now. That's real.
Some of us, anybody wrong you, you slay them forever.
Man.
Huh? He's a man that loves us so deep that he threatens the government with what God is going to do to them, even to the least of us.
Come on.
Farrakhan. Go study him. Don't take my word for it. Go listen to him and don't tell me you don't believe everything he said. You ain't never heard everything he said.
Right.
Huh? Stop letting the white part of you reject black.
Go ahead.
Because when you start rejecting black or truth coming from a black man, that's the white man inside of you. Or you got one or two up in you.
Yes, sir. My God.
I found 3 in me the other day. I was slaying. Why is Muhammad and any Muslim murder the dog?
100%.
I'm not talking about no physical murdering.
That's right.
It's got to be a spiritual murdering and a mental murdering. I got to stop acting like them
Right.
and really become pro-black, unapologetically black.
Right. Go ahead.
Somebody in my social media said, sound like you too black to me. I said, that ain't even black enough.
That's right.
Too black don't mean you hate nobody else.
Right.
That means I'm just so deeply in love with me.
Go ahead.
And then when I see people of other color, they know I love me. They can tell.
Right. They respect it.
You can't introduce me to heaven.
That part.
Man, I don't want that. Give me Shaniqua.
Right. All day.
I'd rather have that attitude. I don't need no BS. I don't need her. She takes my strength.
That's right.
I'm Samson. I don't need a Delilah.
Teach.
Only Shanae can give strength to a black man.
That's right.
Go ahead. Wow.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
I'm so fired up today. Dude, it's just good to see my family. What's up, cuz? What up, blood? Y'all so beautiful. Even in our messed up state, you're beautiful.
That's right. That's right.
Because we're going to be all right.
Yes, sir.
This man Farrakhan, I am so honored that he, like you, have been working on me for 33 years. Put me in one of the departments of his laboratory.
Come on.
Gave me the supreme wisdom that I could try them out like chemicals. Huh? Go out west, man, and use this wisdom, and you'll learn how to use it right. You're going to blow up some at first. You're going to blow yourself up if you don't know how to mix the right chemicals.
Go ahead. Teach.
You'll blow up some in the laboratory of chemistry.
That's right.
And if you don't know how to teach black people and teach and train them privately and in their private moment, know how to reach that brother or sister, you'll lose them.
That's right.
But the first phase of knowledge you got to go through is arrogance.
Come on.
That's right.
Because we've been without knowledge for so long, when you first get it, it's like money, make you think you're something you're not.
Right. Good teaching.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Then you use your wisdom at first to be seen of men. You try to stretch yourself, make yourself taller than what you are. There ain't nobody never paid you no attention. When you get this knowledge, when you get this wisdom, you put on that suit and bow tie, it means something to the hood.
That's right.
Fact.
Yes, sir.
Huh? You could have been a buster in the other world, but once you put on that suit and bow tie, you become a Superman.
Come on.
Once you put on that headpiece, you become a superwoman. You like kryptonite to a criminal.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Good teaching.
A pimp would never approach you looking like that. Never.
Yeah.
No, sir.
They looked up, oh, they go pimping somewhere else.
Right.
It's real. It's real.
You don't believe me? We'll do an experiment, sisters, one day. Because y'all don't believe it. I'll take sisters and I'll tell you, dress. What word I'm looking for? Dress as.
Modestly.
No. When you just really showing stuff.
Provocatively.
I like that word provocative.
Or revealing.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And I can walk you on any corner in LA and watch how the brothers respond.
Come on. Come on.
Then I can take one of these sisters, walk her on that same corner and watch how they respond.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Right.
Which one would you choose? Which response would you like? See? Because if you're provocative, you're telling him I'm easy.
That's right.
You can have it all. That's why I'm showing it to you.
That's right.
And he'll get it.
Teach.
And while he's with you, he's looking at them.
Go ahead.
Because you poured on his Lord desire. When they see women dressed like this, it pulls on their higher desire.
Come on.
This is why when I was in high school, we, to be honest, we sexed the wild girls and married the plain ones.
Come on.
Teach,
Think
brother.
about it.
Brother laughing, you know what I'm talking about, right, brother? Yeah. Wow, hey, I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's true.
I'm just trying to teach you a real reality. I'm trying to get you up on game.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead.
You getting them, sir, Jack?
Thank you.
Because no nation can rise any higher than its women.
That's right.
Fact.
And sisters, when y'all come into the truth, it's over, man. We have to adjust.
That's right.
We don't have no world without you. Everything we do is for your attention.
That's right.
That's real. I don't know a low rider that's always going to hit the switches for dudes.
That ain't no low rider.
Come on.
A real low rider, when he sees sisters, that car get the...
I've seen it.
Come on.
Huh? For you. We don't dress for some dude to be run up to me, minister, you show shot. Oh, brother, thank you. Thank you. But when my wife tell me, baby, you on it. You the second self of God.
Yes, sir.
That's a fact.
Huh? So I thank Allah for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as I greet you in peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
Brothers and sisters, how y'all doing?
All right, sir.
Look, by Allah's grace, we're going to have some fun today.
Yes, sir.
Because I do not desire to preach. My desire is to teach so that you walk away a student with a body of knowledge that you can go and vet.
Yes, sir.
And in your vetting of what you will learn today, I pray that it helps you to line your mind up with truth, period.
Yes, sir.
And at the proper time, when your spiritual alarm clock go off, you know where you're supposed to go. The Nation of Islam, with all of our issues and problems, we are the greatest thing for the black, brown, and red community. This is a nation of Islam that attracts sometimes the worst of our people, and it cleans us up. I was one.
That's right. All of it.
I was a wretch, out messing over my community by putting drugs. I was a patriot missile for white people. And I allowed them to use my lust for wanting money
Come on now.
to be a destructive force to my people.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
I, because of my weakness, allowed them to tap into my mixed emotions about women. And they tapped on the side of that pimp element part of me because I became a product of the environment that I grew up in. In the 60s, I grew up around pimps.
That's right.
Come on, think about that.
And I saw pimps control women. B, come in. They would come. Man, I'm 6 years old. 8 years old. I'm like, I tried it. I went to elementary school, saw a little girl on the playground. B, come here. She came, she whooped my butt. First fight I lost to a girl.
First.
He said, what you call me? I said, you heard me, B. Boop. She did the helicopter. Some girl grabbed me, pulled my shirt over my head, man. I didn't go to school for 2 weeks. I got her back, but I hit her from behind in the hallway. I'm just telling you, you're looking at a recovering sick person.
Come on, teach.
This is what I love about the nation, man. The nation of Islam is a spiritual and mental hospital that fixes people, man.
Yes, sir.
And as long as you keep your intravenous needle and you let the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad drain into the courses of your veins, then God systematically in stages and degrees start removing what this world did to you and made of you.
That's right.
And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, brother, if you follow me, God will make you a respecter of men and men to respect you.
That's right.
He said, pick up your cross, come follow me, brother.
That's right.
You're going to be a great fisherman one day, and I did it. And by the grace of Allah, I'm respected all over this planet.
Yes, sir.
By His grace, because I'm following Him.
Yes,
And as long as I follow that name, I'll be all right.
That's a fact.
Sound like you're worshiping to me? Shut up.
Yes.
You don't even know what love looks like.
That's
Come
right.
on. Teach on that.
Do you know the entire black community don't know how to love a black man?
Yes, sir.
That's a fact.
Peace, Brother Minister.
Because you never met one.
That's right.
That's right.
We stopped being men the moment them chains went on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
The moment the white people put us in the hull of the ships and the warriors was down there, he started de-warrionizing us.
Come on now.
Right, sir.
That's a fact.
He chained us, man. We didn't like that. He beat the hell out of us. It took 9 months to get us from Africa to America. We were weak when we got here.
Yes, sir.
And even some of the Portuguese and the Dutch homosexuals raped some of the men. Did you know that?
That's a fact. Come on now.
And if you go to how to break a slave, they'll tell you one of the greatest ways to break an African is to put a cattle prod in the behind of a male. And once you do that to him, he's broken. Broke. We survived that.
Think about
He
it.
raped you too.
Think about it. Come on.
We can hear our grandmother, we can hear our children crying at the rape of the Dutch, the Portuguese, and the British.
That's right.
What did that do to a people, man? We so ready to forgive these people?
Come on.
Peace, brother man.
Wake us up.
Not me. I ain't born like that.
Come on.
That's why I know why God came and got me.
Make us feel it.
Because he knew deep in my soul there's a warrior that needs to be tapped and released.
That's right.
Once he found out who he really is, I got him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Peace, brother man.
I thank God
All right.
for bringing me to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to be used in service of black people. And over the years, my love has grown and developed for black people like I can't help myself no more.
Go ahead.
Because you're going to look, if you're going to save these people that are homeless, that's been eating out the garbage can. I seen a brother that's been sleeping under the bridge so long, he's so black, he gray.
Lord have mercy.
He smells like 50 gallons of piss.
Come on. That's real. That's real.
Comes up to the car with the cup, hitting on the window, nigga, give me a quad. How do you talk to a brother like that?
Come on now.
Get away from my car. Is that how you do it? You know what I did? I rolled down my window. I said, brother, do you realize who you are? Nigga, who you? I said, I'm your brother.
That's right.
I said, stop pretending, brother, and acting like that. You're God. That's like that. Straight to it, and you have to mean it. Don't say it. If you don't mean it, don't say it.
Right.
I said, you're God, brother. I said, I don't care what circumstance led you to the street, brother. You're a God, black man. I said, I'm coming back to see you. I pulled down, you know what that brother said before the light turned green? He said, Assalamu alaikum, brother.
That's right.
I said, pretending.
Come on.
You pretending to be a whore. You pretending to be a killer.
Come on. Good teach.
You pretend good now. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
It looks for real.
That's right.
It ain't.
Good teach.
It's conditional. It's environmental.
Peace, brother man.
But take you out of that environment to a godly environment with alpha males.
Come on.
A mutt would even get right when you put them around alpha males.
That's right.
Jeez.
You ever seen the dog whisper? When you got away with dog, they take him and put him in the pack. In the pack straightening. That's what happened to me. God took me out of this dog world because I was a dog, put me in the nation. I was with the pack. Now look at it.
Come on. Go ahead.
Love black people.
That's right.
Now I know how to get dogs out the pack.
Go ahead.
So I thank the minister. Brothers and sisters, I'm about to try to embark on the third part of this hard subject for some.
Come on.
We've been dealing with a subject that's in the book of Ezekiel, but before I go there, last week I read from this Bible called the Clear Word Youth Devotion. And I want to clear up a mistake I made. I said that this was from the Seventh-day Adventists. It's from the Southern Adventists. Southern Adventists. This is their devotional youth Bible, so that when you're reading it, they make it more modern than the this, thou, thus, King James confusion Bible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's, I wanted to just make that correction, all right?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to research it, you have to go to the Clear Word Youth Devotional Bible, all right?
Yes, sir.
Now, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, we've been teaching on the will. The American government called them UFOs. How many of you have ever heard the word UFO? Raise your hand. Beautiful. You know when white people don't understand something,
Jeez.
two things they do. They're so arrogant because if they're not controlling it, they don't want you to have knowledge of it.
Right.
Exactly.
Think about that.
They'll make it mysterious or a mystery to you.
Jeez.
Why, when they start leaving the caves of Europe, because they were cave dwellers, you were never in a cave.
That's right.
What?
That's right.
You wasn't in no caves. You were civilized.
That's right.
The only race that was in the caves of Europe was Caucasian people.
That's right.
Where they didn't know how to bury their own dead.
That's
That's
right.
fact. Come on.
Their grandparents used to die in decay right in front of them.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
And they would take the bones and go hunting with them.
That's right.
This is real. I'm not trying to make mockery. They slept in trees. They used to, that's why they like climbing today. Climbing up rocks. Like, brother, come on with me.
That's real. That's why they live in the hills. Come on.
Yes, sir.
No, for real.
Yes, sir.
Read their history. There's a movie called Quest for Fire.
There it is.
Come on.
That's real.
They used to be among us in Africa, but our foreparents kicked them out of the Garden of Eden for starting trouble among the righteous.
Yes.
So they was excommunicated out of the Garden of Eden.
Yes, sir.
And we took off all of our African clothing and put a napkin over their private parts and walked them across the Arabian desert. That is real. Into the caves and hillsides of Europe.
Think about it.
They went savage.
That's real. Wow.
And they start crawling around on all fours. I'm going to go into that. I'm going to show you. There's parts of the world right now where white people are crawling
Yes, sir.
on all fours like dogs running. I'm going to show you some videos.
That's true. That is true.
They grew tails. Got pictures.
Yes, sir.
And they won't call us a monkey.
We got tail.
Y'all all right? I'm not making mockery. This is history. I ain't mad at nobody. But y'all been talking about us for a long damn time. Now the truth about you need to come out so that maybe you'll humble yourself. If you don't believe me, get me in front of your white people. You scared to talk to me. Get me in front of them. I'll show them. Look, cracker. I mean, look. These your people with all these tails. I had a brother send me a whole bunch of pictures of tails. I said, oh! I said, brother, warn me about what you texting me. Wait till I show you that we're going to go into the making of the white man.
Yes, sir.
Go get the book.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
When they started traveling out of Europe, they came into Africa, they saw the pyramids that our parents built. The pyramids is built so beautifully, each stone weighing tons. They don't even know, how did y'all stack these stones? The same way we raised the mountains.
Jeez.
We had the knowledge in mathematics and wisdom of hydraulics.
Yes, sir.
Long before this man came. We had 60,000 books, and we gave him one on mathematics.
Yes, sir.
The pyramids is built so beautifully, even though it gets 115, 120 degrees on the outside, it maintains 72 degrees inside of the pyramids without an air conditioner.
That's right. Jeez.
How the hell we do that? I live in the hood, it get 80 degrees, I'm sweating. How do we do that? So since he couldn't control it, guess what he started calling what he don't understand? A wonder. One of the 8 wonders of the world. You know why he calling it a wonder? Because he wondered how the hell did black people do this?
Yes, sir.
See? Whatever he can't duplicate, he's got to control it. He couldn't duplicate rap music, but he do control it.
That's right.
When it first came out, he had no control because it was finding a way at him.
Yes, Yes, sir.
Public Enemy, KRS-One, they will find a way at white folks.
Yes, sir.
They found some gangsters to make us fire away at each other because we were messing up their plan.
Yes, sir.
So now in 1930 to 1932, a man on the scene by the name of Elijah Muhammad started teaching about a wheel, Ezekiel's wheel. Go read it in the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw it. He said it was a city in the sky. It was a wheel within a wheel, and it had creatures in it that can make the wheel move in any direction. That's what they say about the UFO.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a wheel, the size of it is a half mile by a half mile. It's one of the most beautiful and magnificent mechanical machines ever built. And Master Farad Muhammad, the man that taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he put together the architectural plans and had it built right on the island of Nippon or Japan. You can take it or leave it alone.
Yes, sir.
It has 1,500 little wheels called UFO. It's a city in the sky, and each of these wheels has 3 bombs on them.
That's right.
It has a drill that they can drop on the earth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was captured by the FBI, when they raided the mosque and his homes, they took the drawings of the wheel.
Yes, they did. Yes, sir.
Because they knew about it. And this Georgia-born black man told the cracker FBI to their face, oh, you can't handle that.
That's right.
That's what he said.
He said, that's God's weapon on you.
Yes.
That wheel was built to set down all the tyrants in the world.
Yes.
It will destroy every army on this planet.
Hey.
Everyone. I'm telling you, nation, we got back up. You were telling me we ain't no nation. Yes, we are. We got Air Force. A half mile by a half mile, 1,500 bomber planes. I mean, I don't know how you could be in the nation and know this teachings and walk away from the nation.
Hey.
Maybe you just don't know what they know. But something is about to go down. So basically, I pray and hope that before this lecture get dry, you're going to see them.
Yes, sir.
Possibly. So, now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, 1989,
Yes, sir.
did a press conference because God brought the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to the wheel where he heard the voice
Yes, sir.
of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who told him about a plan that America was doing that would be a war.
Yes, sir.
He told him it would be a war that Reagan and his Joint Chiefs of Staff was planning a war. And he told the minister, I want you to go to D.C. and I want you to expose this plan and tell him you got it from me, Elijah Muhammad on the wheel.
Yes, sir.
I know, brothers, just listen, It may be far-fetched to you. Why you think this cracker got movies called Independence Day?
Yes, sir.
What does he know? Will Smith playing the role, and then he got it where he destroyed the wheel. Flee. But he wants you to think when you see them, they're an enemy to you. Just like he got you thinking Mexicans are aliens. He got you thinking you're an American and you even calling Mexicans aliens.
That's right.
Wait a minute, folks.
That's exactly what they
The real alien in America is Caucasian people. I told white people. I did. I ain't scared of them. One white person said, yeah, well, we'll just all go back to Europe. I said, that's not even Europe.
That's right.
That's right.
Come on now.
See, you ain't even the real European.
That's right.
Teach.
I said, you don't have no earth. Your root is in a black woman.
Teach.
You are a hybrid.
Teach. Sir.
That's right.
You know how you got these new dogs running around there? They weren't natural to the earth, but they was experimenting. They came out with all these new kind of dogs.
That's right.
Teach the truth.
It's a pit bull, it's mixed with German Shepherd and Cocker Spaniel. Damn dog don't know how to walk straight. It don't know what it is. I'm a German Shepherd, pit bull, Cocker Spaniel. Got you even said it, nigga. I'm Asian. Let me get it. So, you have to go back and look at part 1. I can't go over all of that. This is part 3. My role today is to show you that the vision, what Minister Farrakhan was told, if it was a lie, then it wouldn't have manifested.
Teach.
I'm going to show you today it manifested
That's
That's
right.
right.
by Allah's grace. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
So, y'all ready for class?
Yes, sir. Good teaching.
All praises due to Allah. Now I need you to calm your emotions down. Don't be mad at me.
Teach, brother man.
I'm gonna grab my PowerPoint and we're gonna go to work. Brother, would you do me a favor and put this down there? Now, as a homework assignment, I'm gonna give you, by Allah's permission, we got some homework for you. I'm gonna play a video. This is part of the video that I played in part 1 and 2. You gotta get the whole series, and if you look at it in order, even the day will make sense. But I'm gonna play you part of the minister's press conference in 1989 where he came strong. And do you know when he told the enemy about the wheel and he had been on it, do you know they didn't make mockery of him?
That's right.
Come on.
The Washington Post, New York Times, they all shut up.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Think about
They
it.
could have said, this fool,
That's right.
talking about he been on a UFO.
That's right. Come on.
Look, white people in high places know who Minister Farrakhan is.
Hurry.
I'm talking about world leaders, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPont. They know.
That's right.
Yes, they do.
They have the wheel. They have video footage of it put away in files called above top secret.
Yes.
Oh, no.
They interviewed Minister Farrakhan at the Washington Post and the Washington Times, and when the owner came in, he whispered to the other ones, he knows.
That's right.
Back.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh, mama.
So before we go into this, I want y'all to listen.
I'm here to announce today
Turn it up.
that President Bush has met with his Joint Chiefs of Staff under the direction of General Colin Powell to plan a war against the black people of America, the Nation of Islam, and Louis Farrakhan, with particular emphasis on our black youth under the guise of a war against drug sellers, drug users, gangs, and violence. All of this is going on under the heading of extremely urgent national security. The FBI, in preparation for this assault on the black community, has stepped up its campaign against strong black political leadership. The FBI is using dirty tactics under the guise of flushing out corrupt politicians to malign and besmirch the good name of many of our strong fighters for justice, threatening them with indictments or casting them into prison. With other weaker leaders The government has already promised them wealth and nearness to the centers of power and to be in their councils in exchange for their being silent when the actual attack comes. The FBI has been working to destroy the Nation of Islam since 1940. As a young Muslim 34 years ago, I recall that agents of the FBI were constantly visiting members of the Nation of Islam trying to frighten us and our families away from our belief in the religion of Islam and away from our desire to follow the leadership of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now it is well documented through the Senate subcommittee hearings on the counterintelligence program of the United States government under J. Edgar Hoover, and through information that we have received under the Freedom of Information Act, that the government of the United States, the Justice Department, and the FBI, in the name of fighting communism, and in the name of preventing a Messiah from rising among black people who would unite us, and in the name of protecting the existing social and political order, use taxpayers' dollars to employ every dirty trick that was ever used in overthrowing foreign governments deemed to be the enemies of the United States, to overthrow and to undermine all black leaders and black organizations in the United States. It is well documented that the FBI, using taxpayers' dollars, conducted illegal surveillance, wiretaps, and mischievous machinations against black leadership to discredit, undermine, embarrass, and even kill those leaders who stood up to amend the condition that 310 years of chattel slavery and 100 years of free slavery produced. That which the FBI has done against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam, black leaders, and black organizations, again, is well.
All right, did y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
In 1989, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan declared that this government, please listen, was declaring a war on the Nation of Islam, black people in general, with a specific target of black youth. Either he's lying or he's telling the truth. This is 1989. At the height of black consciousness. 1989, that's when Public Enemy, KRS-One, I mean, rappers was on it. In the 80s. Black men were being warriors, man. We were wearing the African medallions. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
See? We were putting back on the dashikis and the red, black, and the green. At a time when the Black Consciousness Conference was just forming 40 years ago. At Cal State Long Beach, where you couldn't even get in. Today, yesterday, you couldn't even find nobody to go to that. He said he got this from the wheel. So we just gonna recap some things and then we're gonna go and see, was there really a war on the black community?
Yes, sir.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
1942. What year? 1942. How many of you heard about the Battle of LA? They made a movie about this. That in 1942, when America was getting ready to bomb Japan, in 1942, over Los Angeles, the UFOs sighting was seen. I mean, it was tons of UFOs over LA. To the degree that this general, see, so before you say y'all crazy, here's a general, General George Marshall. He wrote a memo to President Roosevelt. And he told the president that the wheels showed up. And in that memo, he wrote it. And he said that planes were seen over Los Angeles, but they were not American planes, nor were they military planes. these were the UFOs.
Go ahead.
He said, we sent up 15 aircraft. We tried to shoot it down. They shot 1,400 rounds at them, couldn't touch them. And they said they just played with us.
Go ahead.
Huh? This is February 1942. A couple of months later, in May, they arrested Elijah Muhammad.
Go ahead.
Because they was getting ready to go to war with Japan because they had agents in the nation who was reporting Elijah Muhammad had been teaching about
Go ahead now.
that they are not UFOs. They are not unidentified. They are identified, and they with us.
Yes. Go ahead.
You can take it or leave it alone, man. I'm looking to ride one of these things.
That's right. Come on.
I just don't want them to go too fast. But I just quickly, I can't, you have to go get it. You can go into the memo, that's why I wanted to put it up. You can Google, because I know you are.
Right.
You ain't gonna believe the nation until white people tell you, yeah, they telling the truth. So Google that. Let's go to the next. There are presidents. President General Ford wrote a letter to Congress that he wanted the top secret files exposed to the American public because he said the American public deserved the right to know that there is something over their head more powerful
Go ahead.
than this government. That's his right. You can Google it. You can Google President Gerald Ford wanting the UFO phenomenon files to be open.
Come on. Actual facts.
Senator Barry Goldwater of Arizona, he too said that he had a big interest in the UFO files and that he wanted to go to Patterson's Air Force Base where the files are kept and he needed to see these files because he know that they exist. Go read it for yourself. We're going to move quick because I got to get to my point.
Go ahead.
Barry Goldwater. President Jimmy Carter. So before you say minister is crazy, listen to President Carter. He said, if I become president, I'll make every piece of information this country has about UFO sightings available to the public and the scientists. I am convinced that UFOs exist because I have seen one.
Come on.
When he got in office, they called his butt in the room and said, you ain't doing nothing.
That's a fact.
Y'all think the president run these countries?
No, sir. Come on.
The president has to answer to real bosses.
Come on. Teach them this.
Obama wasn't running nothing but his mouth.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's right.
It's like if I own T-Mobile and I hire Obama, I'll let him act like he running. So the owner show up and say, what you just say? You fired.
Right.
Huh?
That's right.
That's President Carter. There's a group ran by Dr. Stephen Greer. You can go look this up, the study of extraterrestrial intelligence. Ain't nothing extraterrestrial. This wheel was not made somewhere on some planet. It was made on Earth.
Come on. Come on. Make it plain.
Ain't no aliens on it. They're human beings, black people.
Go ahead.
Indigenous people is on the wheel. They look like you and me. They from Earth.
Come on.
Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, but those bomber planes do have hybrid-like humans. Because they can move in any direction. You couldn't take that. And they are programmed to obey the instructions of the Son of Man. It's all in the book of Ezekiel.
Facts.
All right? But this group did a study. And do you know that there are other countries who they have made it known to their population that the UFOs exist? Here are some of the countries. France. France let everybody know in France that these are not, they UFOs, but they real. Germany, India, Ireland, Japan, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Ukraine, United Nations, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Vatican City, Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Chile, China, Denmark, Finland. All of these countries have let their population know that they exist. The question was asked, well, why won't America let it be known to its public? And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, if they did, they then would have to admit that there's a power in the world greater than America.
Go ahead.
They don't want to let the American people know. And if you look at movies, when you look at Independence Day, they kept it a secret. Look at the movie. They tell you what they do.
Come on.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and a group of ministers that God gave them one of the wheels.
That's right.
They said crash. He gave it to them as a calling card.
Yeah, 51. Come on now.
They have it at an Air Force base. They call it Area what?
51. Come on.
He wanted them to see it because they can't duplicate it.
That's right.
That's right.
The technology in it is 1,000 years advanced from what technology they got on this planet.
Go ahead.
Sir.
God said, I'm going to give you one. And they're keeping it above top secret because you then, knowing that it's something powerful in America, wouldn't put your hope in the White House.
Go ahead.
Ain't nobody in the White House going to save us. This study, they went on to say that 48% of Americans are not sure about the UFO, the existence of UFOs. 79% believe there is a government covering. That's approximately 237 million people. 36% of Americans believe UFOs exist. That's 108 million people. 10% of them believe they have spotted one. That's 30 million. I ain't never seen. I'm so upset. I thought I seen one other night. It was a damn helicopter. I stopped looking for them. In fact, some of you that crazy. Don't go out looking for them. You come back all crazy. So okay. You might. Now, I want to go back to what the minister said, and then we get ready to go into some hard facts. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that there's about to be a war on the Nation of Islam.
Come on. Come on.
Black people in general, with a specific focus on who? Black youth, brown youth, Native Americans, a specific interest. Watch what's about to happen. Now, before we go into that, I want to show you, let's read this scripture. Jeremiah, the book of what?
Jeremiah.
11th chapter, the 19th verse. Let's see if this fits us. But I was like a lamb or an ox that is brought to slaughter. And I knew not that they had devised devices against me, saying, let us destroy the tree with the fruit thereof. And let us cut him off from the land of the living, that his name may be no more remembered. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan exposed there's about to be a war on the black community. Somebody is planning to slaughter us and we don't even know it.
That's right.
The Holy Quran said they're going to come at you in your straight path. Meaning, they're going to come at you in your natural tendencies of wanting to have fun and lead you into death. They're going to come at you in your natural tendencies to want to party and listen to music, but the music is going to have lyrics that's going to lead you right into slaughter.
Come on. T.
Huh? They're going to come at you from every avenue, even the atmosphere. They're going to have chemtrails taking you out. You don't even know it. Vaccines taking you out. You know, you're just getting all your baby stuck.
That's real. That's real.
And your baby got autism and you think it was natural. No, it was by design.
That's right. That's right.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
Who is this man? This just didn't start in the 80s. J. Edgar Hoover wanted to stop the rise of a black messiah. Why?
Come on. Think about
Go
that.
study it for yourself. They wanted to stop any black man that could galvanize and unite black people was a danger to America. Too late. There's a man that did it 4 times. The Million Man March made J. Edgar Hoover turn over in his grave. Million Family March. Huh? Million More March. He did it 4 times, jesters or else. That really scared him. Didn't no Negro show up for that one.
Come on.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
He wanted to stop the rise of a black Messiah. What did he know? We're going to move quick. Now, when did they start this? Read silently as I read aloud. This demon, his name is Dr. Harry Bailey. He worked with another demon by the name of Dr. Robert Heath. Listen to this. In New Orleans, black prisoners, black what? Prisoners, were used for psychosurgery, destroying healthy parts of the brain. Experiments that involve implanting electrodes into their brains. Dr. Heath from Tulane University, an Australian psychiatrist, and Dr. Bailey conducted the psychosurgery experiment. Dr. Bailey, listen at this, boasted. Can y'all see that?
Yes,
sir.
I gotta get over here. Dr. Bailey boasted that they used blacks as it was cheaper to use niggers than cats.
Wow.
Because they were everywhere and cheap experimental animals. He had also received funding from the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA.
Come on.
Please listen, brothers. If
Yes,
you don't hear nothing else, they will not be able to say Farrakhan and the nation tell lies. This is from them. We got this from the Freedom of Information.
That's right. Go ahead.
That's right. Look at what they talked about doing. Coming up with a drug that's got you the way you are right now.
Yes, sir.
You think that's weed you smoking?
Come on.
Set your behind up.
Go ahead now.
You don't believe me? Look at what they said. This is in the 50s. They paid this man come up with a drug to carry out drug experiments on African American prisoners at Louisiana State Penitentiary. According to a CIA memo, they sought to determine whether they could come up with a drug. They wanted it to do 4 things. Cause black men to have a loss of speech, a loss of sensitivity to pain, meaning I'll bang, I don't feel shit.
Come on. Think about it.
Loss of memory, and a loss of willpower. I don't want to work.
Go ahead.
What's up, nigga? Nigga ain't nothing up. Got a job for a nigga. Nigga don't want to work. Nigga play them video game. I'm trying to get 1,000,000 points. Nigga.
Come on now.
No willpower. Did they see? They didn't. What they never told you is they came up with it.
That's right.
That's right, that's right.
Got it.
I used to smoke weed, but hell, I grew it.
Come on.
Now it's in the hands of the white man. He done increased the THC in it.
That's right.
That's right, that's right.
Man.
And it's causing people to have psychotic episodes. I had to go to a studio because a brother OD'd on weed. I said, where did the nigga OD'd on weed?
Wow.
Smoking, you hallucinating. Little young members of the nation ain't never tried no drug and you hitting this crap.
Wow.
Vaping.
Now you 19 damn people. You sitting there sweating, don't want nobody to call your mama. You know, what's happening? Boy, some people here got re-stimulated.
Come on now. That's good.
They got us.
Yeah.
They got you on Popeye's chicken.
Come on.
something in that chicken. I don't want that damn
Chicken
sound.
fat. Come on.
That's dangerous.
Chicken running to pop out.
Right? Come on.
That's a trap. You better run from Papa.
Right.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I ain't getting on that. There's nothing you can teach it on Papa. Who was the founder of mass incarceration? Here he is.
Tricky head. Come on.
Let me go out of that. Brothers and sisters, wickedly wise Caucasian people use the English language to speak to two groups.
Come on. Wake us up. Man.
There's a group, well, they know now. They all follow Trump. Nearly 90 million.
Wow.
Care what he do? He done called out the zombies. They hate us. Really, what they don't realize, their world is over.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
They are panicking because black and people of color are waking up now.
That's right. That's right.
And Trump is saying, I mean, it's time to go to war with all people of color. So they use languages that, you know, they fool you. They say there's going to be a war on drugs. That's a code word for war on black and brown.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They say a war on crime. Mother, they think, oh, they get ready to arrest all these criminals. No, that's a war on everybody, mother.
Oh.
That's right. That's right.
Because the word crime and black people is synonymous. The word drugs and black and brown is synonymous. Code word.
Come on. Teach them the code.
Nixon, he started it by saying there's going to be a war on law and order. Because that was in the 60s when you had the Black Panthers and Nation. We was rising up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And he made white people in the South think that civil rights, look, they thought that the civil, look, come on.
Go ahead.
It's amazing to me. White people thought that black people were saying, can we walk hand in hand? One day, little black boys and little black girls, they're going to walk hand in hand. White folks saw that as a threat.
Come on. Come on.
Them that be pretending they cool today, they weren't thinking like that yesterday.
Go ahead.
That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Do you know the civil rights movement was saw as a militant group? Really?
That's real.
Black militants said there wasn't no militants.
That's right.
They was trying to love y'all into liking them.
That's right.
They blame Dr. King and the civil rights snake core. They blame them for lawlessness. So Nixon came up with the first mass incarceration. Look at what he said. Because we got all of Nixon's writings now that he dead. They bring it out.
Right. Right.
We should go dig him up. Put him on trial or make a wax. Look at what he said. He said, look, we understood we couldn't make it illegal to be young or poor or black in the United States. Comma. Now here comes the power word. But, see, but, what did that just do to all of that? Erased it.
Right.
That's why when you get them contracts, you better get rid of all the butts. Because they about to rob your butt. We could, look, but we could criminalize their common pleasures. He said the whole problem in America in the late 60s and 70s really is the blacks. But check this out. The key is to devise a system. Devise a what?
System.
Say it again.
System.
Devise a system that recognizes this while not appearing to.
Think about it.
See, a spider has a system.
Go ahead.
What is the spider system?
Web.
He spins a web.
Come on.
That's right.
If you don't, he ain't gonna eat.
That's right.
You know how you hate when we get rid of this? Where you just sweep the web down. What you really should find that damn spider.
Right. Couldn't teach.
Black people come to me, man, the brother, how many ain't white people? It's the system. I said, that's just like telling me it's a web and not the spider.
Come on.
In order to get rid of the spider system, you have to kill the spider.
That's a fact. Go ahead.
So are you suggesting we kill white people? Yeah, the ones that's in our head.
Go ahead.
Then we'll come up with our own system. We don't need him. They need us. We don't need America. We can be our own nation.
Come on, now.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Check this out about Nixon. Now you're about to come in. Let's read this. Nixon. A war on law and order. War, a conflict carried on by force or arms, as between parties within a nation or nations. A state or period of armed hostility or active military operation. A law on war and order. This was the birth of mass incarceration. Y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
For more than a decade, from the 1950s until the 1960s, conservatives systematically and strategically linked oppositions to civil rights legislation to call for law and order, arguing that Martin Luther King's philosophy of civil disobedience was the leading cause for crime.
Man. Come on.
Yeah, because you was making white people uncomfortable.
That's right.
You in a restaurant. I don't know how they did it. I would not have been in no restaurant demanding they feed me.
Come on. Feed you, all right.
I wonder how many of them ain't boo-boo.
Go ahead.
You got a clan in the
That's right,
kitchen.
that's
It's like,
right.
okay, feed, hey, give them this.
Man, that's real.
I hope they didn't eat.
That's real.
Listen, I got to ask some of the civil rights leaders before they die. Did y'all eat? By 1968, 81% of those responding to a Gallup poll agreed with the statement that law and order has broken down in this country, and the majority blame Negroes. This one he was calling them Negroes, who start riots and communists. Nixon dedicated 17 speeches solely to the topic of law and order. And one of his TV ads explicitly called on voters to reject the lawlessness of the civil rights activists and embrace order in the USA.
Come on.
He says dissent is necessary ingredients for change, but in a system of government that provides for peaceful change, there is no cause that justifies resulting to violence. Let us recognize that the first right of every American is to be free from domestic violence. So Nixon said, I pledge to you, we shall have law and order. Who is he talking about? Civil rights leaders.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
At that time, I want you to remember this number, there were only around 250,000 inmates in 1970. Y'all ready to take this ride? Let's stick with me, brothers.
Come on.
Everybody all right?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody stand up. Stand up. Just roll your shoulder a little bit. Shake it off.
Sir.
Kick your legs out a little bit. I might not see you no more, so I'm going to keep you here all day. No, have a seat. Have a seat. Good, good. Now, check this out. We get ready to get, this demon right. Hit it.
6'6".
That's a real monster.
Ronald Wilson.
Ronald
Come on.
Wilson Reagan. His name is number 666.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Now remember, the minister started with him.
Come on.
President Ronald Reagan and his Joint Chiefs of Staff has met. Let's see it there now. Ronald Reagan in 1982. Now, advertisement. If you don't have this book, get it.
Yes, sir.
That's right. That's right.
This book was written by Sister Michelle Alexander. Powerful piece. The book is called The New Jim Crow, where she lines out and verify everything Minister Farrakhan said is true.
Come on.
That the prison industrial complex is the new plantation.
Come
And
on.
she shows how they did it. Go get this book.
Sir.
And she talks about how Ronald Reagan wanted to show white people that he could be hard on black people because the Democratic Party in the 70s, we would start making a lot of strides, man. We were getting everything. We had free college, man, everything.
Come on.
Huh?
Jeez.
They had it, affirmative action, where if you built something, you had to hire black people. They got rid of all that now.
Right.
Now, war on drugs. Y'all ready for this? Let's read it. Reagan's campaign. In his campaign for presidency, Reagan mastered the language of race from the conservative discourse and thus built on the success of Nixon and other conservatives who developed a strategy of exploiting racial hostility or resentment without explicit reference to race. Trump is doing the same thing.
Fact.
He gained the support of many whites who felt betrayed by the Democratic Party. He used terms like condemning welfare queen and criminal predators, crime, and welfare were the major themes of his campaign. Note that during this time, only 2% of the people thought that drugs was a major problem. This fact was no deterrent to Reagan, for the drug war from the outset had little to do with public concerns about drugs and much to do with public concerns about race. Now listen, only 2% thought that we had a drug problem. Why was Ronald Reagan saying a war on drugs? Because he knew what they was planning to do. Remember, we were like a lamb before the ox that is brought to slaughter. I knew not that they were devising devices against me, saying, come on, let us cut them off from being a people. What were you planning, Ronald Reagan? Something was happening in the 80s in L.A. LA was the target.
Go ahead.
I want to know why L.A. What do this government and what do those in high places know about the spirituality and the mental power of L.A. blacks and brown?
Go ahead.
What do they know? Y'all ready for this? Look. By waging a war on drug users and drug dealers, Reagan made good on his promise to crack down on the racially defined others. Practically overnight, interesting, the budget for the federal law enforcement agency soared between 1980 and 1984. The FBI anti-drug budget increased from $8 million to $95 million.
Go ahead.
The Department of Defense budget went from $33 million to $1 billion. The DEA, which helped bring crack cocaine into LA, increased from $86 million to $1 billion. Where did they get the money from? Agencies responsible for drug treatment, drug prevention, and education was dramatically reduced.
Think about it.
You concerned about drugs, but you don't want to help us off? Look at what they did. The budget for the National Institute of Drug Abuse was reduced from $274 million to $57 million.
Man.
The Department of Education budget went from $14 million to $3 million.
Think about it.
He was, now this man, this one right here, I'm going to tell you about him.
Come on. Dope, man.
Y'all remember that cracker, huh?
Come on. Jeez.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead.
I don't mean to call you a slave master.
Teach on that dope, man. Come on.
I just wish he wouldn't use that word. Cracker. But them crackers brought crack. Look, this man, I don't know, he was responsible for the crack epidemic that hit Los Angeles in the 1980s. Now, at this time, remember, under this man, the prison population was what?
250. Come on.
By the time Reagan got out of office, it was 1 million.
Man.
That's 650,000 people from Nixon to Reagan that went in prison.
Come on.
Wow.
Less than a decade.
That's right.
Does it look like the minister knew what he was talking about?
Yes, sir.
That's right, that's right.
That's why the gangs don't even know they're using you.
Straight like that. Straight like that.
You hard, you hurt, but you don't even know who caused it.
Come on.
That's right.
Oliver North. This man, look, a Marine. Took the American money. He was caught up in the Iran-Contra where he admitted that he was selling guns for drugs to the Sandinistas and the Contras in Central and South America. And they gave him crack cocaine to bring to America. Where did he bring it? Straight to LA.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's right.
Right here.
To help with the war. Because remember, it wasn't a drug problem. But Reagan declared a war on drugs before it was even drugs in the hood.
Come on. Think about that.
Because he knew he was getting ready to send them in the hood. They had already made contact with Freeway Ricky Ross. He'll tell you, he met with FBI agent Rick Ross, said he saw the military planes bring the crap in. It didn't dawn on him at that time. It took him to go to prison.
Right. Woke up. Come on. They used him. Freeway Rick. Yeah, they used him.
They knew where he made his money. They let him do it for a while. They just took everything.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Then they took the money and went and bought guns. That's right. Boy, I tell you.
That's right.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, not him.
Daddy Bush.
That's him.
Biggest dope dealer in the age. Right there.
Next. All the plans.
Now, he was Reagan's vice president, so he kept up the same thing.
Right.
Look at what he did. George W. Bush. He declared a war on drugs. Black men. Continued under President Bush Sr. He was also vice president during Ronald Reagan's administration. He also was the head of the CIA in 1976 to 1977.
Fact.
Crack hit the streets while he was vice president in 1985.
Come on.
Just a few years after the drug war was announced, leading to a spike in violence as drug markets struggled to stabilize and the anger and frustration associated with joblessness boiled. While at the same time in 1980s, they took all of the industrial jobs out of LA and sent them overseas.
That's right.
Because 70% of black men was working in industrial jobs. They were blue-collar workers, and they took that.
That's right.
Many of our blacks who lived in Ladera,
That's right.
they were blue-collar workers. They weren't college students.
Come on.
That's right.
So they took that to create. Oh, my God. Brothers and sisters, you don't know how wicked our government is.
That's right.
Between 1988 and 1989, the Washington Post alone ran 1,565 stories about drug scourge. Richard Howard, a Post husbandman, eventually admitted that the paper had lost the proper sense of perspective due to such hyperbole, meaning exaggeration and epidemic. He said the politicians are doing a number on the people's head. Sociologists, Mr. Craig and Harry Levin, made a similar point. Crack was a good sin to the right.
God said.
Oh,
God said.
you're right. Crack was a God sin to the right. It could not have appeared at a more political opportune moment.
Man.
The media frenzy was so strong and relentlessly that no one dared challenge this $2 billion machine.
My God. My God.
The war on drugs, cloaked in race-neutral language, offered whites opposite racial reform. Offered whites opposed to racial reforms and unique opportunity to express their hostility toward blacks and black progress without being exposed to the charge of racism.
Man, come on.
These people.
Come on.
In 1989, President Bush characterized drug use as the most present problem facing the nation. Shortly thereafter, the New York Times CBS News poll reported 64% believed that drugs were a significant problem. White began leaving the Democratic Party. And they wanted to come to a get tough on crime movement. By 1990, the KKK, the who? KKK, announced that it intended to join the battle against illegal drugs by becoming the eyes and ears of the police. Really? Well, go Google this. The FBI have reported that the police department in all the major cities in America has been deeply infiltrated by the KKK. Every major city. It's been reported now. This is something. Under Bush Sr., the Sentencing Project reported that the number of people behind bars in the U.S. was unprecedented in world history, and that 1 in 4 young black men were now under the control of the criminal justice. It's a war.
Yes,
with a
sir.
specific interest on who? Young black men.
Come on.
Here come this dude. He did the same thing. We ain't even going here. Let's go to this one.
Yeah. Come on.
Y'all love this one.
Because he plays the saxophone.
Come on. Slick with it.
He was the worst.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Hold on, let me. Listen. I want him to feel it.
Push that forehead.
Did I hurt anybody's feeling?
Sir.
I know y'all like him.
We can do why.
He was a governor in Arkansas.
Come on. Come on.
Y'all ready to read about him?
Yes, sir.
Ooh, listen to this.
Listen.
He ran on a platform saying, I'm going to be tough on crime.
See?
In 1992, what year?
1992.
President candidate Bill Clinton vowed that he would never permit any Republican to be perceived as tougher on crime than himself. True to his word, just weeks before the critical New Hampshire primary, Clinton chose to fly home to Arkansas to oversee the execution of Ricky Ray Rector. He was a mentally impaired black man who had so little conception of what was about to happen to him that he asked for his dessert from his last meal to be saved for him until the next morning.
Think about that.
After the execution, look, Clinton went to a retarded brother's execution
Come on.
to prove that he would be tougher on black people. Why didn't he go to a white man's execution?
Come on. Come on.
See, because they speak a language above you. They're like we miss them with our language called Ebonics.
Right, right.
They miss us with theirs called English. Clinton remarked, look at his remark. I can be nicked a lot, but no one can say I'm soft on crime, blacks. Here's what happened under President Clinton. Y'all ready for this? Number one, 3 strikes law came out in 1994.
That's right.
Was a part of his State of the Union address.
What?
Number 2, $30 billion crime bill signed in 1994. Taking the get tough on crime from the Republicans. Number 3, he gave $15 billion to expand state prisons. And he had met with Wall Street. We're going to go into that.
3 strikes and you are out.
And local police department. Number 5, he signed
60 minutes.
the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act, which ended welfare.
Come on.
He ended welfare, meaning no woman could get on welfare unless she worked.
Come on.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Number 6, impose a 5-year lifetime limit
Come on.
on welfare assistance. a permanent lifetime ban on eligibility for welfare and food stamps for anyone convicted of felony drug offense,
Wow.
including simple possession of marijuana.
Wow. Come on.
Number 7, in 1996, he slashed funding for public housing by $17 billion. A 61% reduction boosted corrections by another $19 billion, and that was a 171% increase. He took money from housing projects and put it into prison. That's why you went from the projects to prison.
That's a fact. Go ahead.
Look, how many of us have visited a state prison in California? Have you? Some of us lived in them. Picture them. Get a picture of them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get a picture of Joan Downs. They look just alike.
That's a fact.
Oh,
Damn.
my God.
Damn. Come on.
Get a picture of Imperial Court. They look just like the prisons. Get a picture of Crenshaw High School, Dorsey. They look just like the prisons.
Come on now.
Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Number 8.
Piece of truth.
Federally assisted public housing projects excluded, looking at this, anyone with a criminal history. Now, they're getting ready to tear down the Jordan down and move everybody up to Lancaster. They done lied to them brothers and sisters, telling them they can move back, but if they got a criminal record, they won't be able to come back. Last but not least, number 9, under Clinton, this demon came up with 3 strikes wasn't good enough for him. He came up with the 1-strike law. Look, this law, the 1 strike and you're out initiative. The new rule was the toughest eviction policy that HUD had implemented. Thus, the countless blacks public housing was no longer available, hence the homeless population boom. Meaning, any mother who lived in the project, if their children committed a crime, they got evicted. Homelessness boomed and foster care boomed. Because now, black mother out with 3 of her children, she's downtown, then the body snatchers called the Department of Family and Children Services. Take those children from her and say, when you finally find a place, we'll give them back. Took the children to psychiatrists who put them on psych meds. So by the time their mother had enough money to get them, the children didn't recognize her. She didn't recognize they was docile.
Come on now.
This ain't no joke, man.
Come on.
Piece of truth, brother Malik.
These people are killing us, man, and we don't see it.
Come on.
You know how much money they make off of a black child that's in foster care? Them white folks in the valley, $15,000 a month per child.
Come on.
We didn't give you nothing. Come on, sister. You got 4 children. Somebody giving you $15G a month. You done come up.
Right.
You'll start being fruitful and multiply. Bubba, come on. Let's get busy. Do what God says. So what are they telling you? Your child has value in the hands of us.
Not you.
That's criminal.
That's your money.
A 9-year-old been in foster care for 10 years, and when they get 18, they become independent, and the white folks kick them in the street. So homelessness by teenagers have increased by 30%. Now the drug dealers and the gangbangers now are trafficking the girls.
Human trafficking.
The economy listen to this, the economy during the Clinton administration boom. Social engineering of black and brown into criminals is the place. That became the modern day Frankenstein. Clinton gives Wall Street the go-ahead to come into private business for prisons. Now, remember, under Reagan, it was 1 million. Now, during Clinton's time, prison grew to 2 million. Remember they said Clinton, he had a meeting with Wall Street? These are the companies. In the state of California, all of these companies fund all the state prisons. The homies is in prison working. They're making chips for Microsoft and for Dell. They're making computer parts. But when they leave prison, they can't even get that job.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Fighting fires.
Yeah, they fighting fires, man. They spraying water, making sure white folks' mansion don't catch on fire. Man, I just want to go to prison just to become a firefighter. I'm going to put gasoline in my hole. No, but it's funny. Targets, because you are a target. Donovan State Prison is owned by Nike. Brothers was making Nike tennis shoes that they'll never wear. All of these businesses were excited about the economic boom under President Clinton. Between 1980 and 1994, profits went from $292 million to $1.3 billion off of slave labor in prison. This is your government. They wonder why Minister Farrakhan fights so hard, because we know this truth that you don't know.
Yeah.
That's right.
So those businesses became the new plantation. America makes up only 5% of the world population, but have 25% of the world's prisoners. Here's a graph that shows you the prison boom right at the time of Nixon. On a graph, this is called affluence. Once it goes this high, this is called power, meaning this stuff is happening and are so strong that if something drastically don't happen, you will never be able to stop it. Wow. The prison population from 1974 to 2014 grew 600%. And brothers was getting 3 strikes and you out on non-violent crime. There's a brother was struck out for stealing a bicycle. We don't see, we being set up.
That's right. That's right.
Peace and truth.
This is why, brother, ain't nothing else I left but the nation.
That's right.
It's hard. Look, when you are living what we call the restrictive laws of this world, can't nothing trap you.
Peace and truth.
When you live in the restrictive law, I can't tell you that everybody in the nation is living a righteous life, but I'm telling you they've been given the formula on how to.
That's right.
Peace and truth.
Now, if they're not doing it, they're going to tell you, they're going to be responsible. They're going to blame it on every damn body else.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell you I'm weak. I don't know how to stop lying. This is deadly, brothers and sisters. So let me ask you the question. Was Minister Farrakhan right?
Yes.
Somebody told him something. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Look at what Isaiah said about us. This is a people robbed and what? Spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for prey, and none deliberate for a spoil. And none said, let's restore them. Let's arrest them. Isaiah saw this. Look at us. What's the difference in this slave and this one?
None.
This is a brother being slave to these plantation owners. He was being sold to these plantation owners. He's being sold. This is a black brother. He's going to Cochrane. He's going to Pelican Bay, one of them, because all of the prisons are in the courtroom. And do you know, in the state of California, depending on what level of education you have will determine what prison you go to. We're being set up. You didn't become a gang member, they made you.
That's right.
Teach the truth.
They led you to that lifestyle with colors. That's right. Colors. Huh?
That's right.
Yeah, you have a natural urging to be a rival to somebody because you want to exercise your physical prowess. That's natural. You want to be able to sit down the bench on the court. They give white boys recreation, they give you recreation.
Teach the truth.
They get YMCA, all kind of programs. When they got drugs, they get rehab. You don't get nothing.
Teach you good.
Do you know right now they are paying black prisoners to use psychotropic drugs in the state of California? So when they get out and they come home, you think that's the homie, he crazy as hell.
Teach you good.
We on psych meds now, he see about 19 damn people.
Teach the truth.
He in the kitchen talking, shut up, you shut up, you shut up. You go in there and look like, who the hell you talk to? That nigga right there. Where is he? No, that nigga right there. It's hard. What you think happened to Nipsey? The brother who shot Nipsey was on psychotropic drugs.
Wait a second.
Where did they catch him at? In front of a mental hospital. Who programmed him?
Teach the truth.
This is bigger than what you think. Remember this? This was a boat that took us into what? This is the new one.
Teach the truth.
Old boat, new boat. Niggas in chains, niggas in chains. You talking about brown people too, y'all niggas too.
Teach the truth, brother.
This is how they had us stacked. This is how they have you stacked in prison. They had us chained. Here's the word is they should be in college. I should have saw them yesterday. I ain't seen the work, I saw these. Hey, minister, right this way. My brother, who you? You at the Black Consciousness Conference. I said, damn. I said, brother. Yes. I said, no, brother. Yes. It's amazing. Sisters, I feel sorry for our girls. But I promise you, by the grace of Allah, if you let us help you, we're going to raise some men for your girls. We can fix them. The Nation of Islam is the best human used car dealer you ever want to see. We'll knock them dents out of his mind. Mark, I know how to pull them balls out and put a new ball on. He changed the lights so we can see better. He put a new transmission so that nigga run all day for you. Some of us get a clutch already. It's the nation, man. Ain't nothing else left. I'm sorry. Why does the devil keep our people illiterate? So that he can use them as a tool and also a slave. He keeps us blind to themselves so that he can what? Master them. Illiterate means ignorant. The white man ain't no problem when you got knowledge. When you know who you are, white people ain't no problem. When I show up, they can't be crackers. Not for me. Because I walk around post in a perfect manner. And when I see them acting up, I say, hold on, cracker. What you just say? I said, that's a damn lie. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mohan. You better be. I ain't no Negro. I'm a car compounder. Y'all know in the nation we got a dance called a hall. Y'all ain't never seen that dance? Called a hall? Hall. call them. No, look. You know why? You know why I use humor? Because we're in so much pain. Some of us are so hard. Come on now. That's why the minister said, brother, when you teaching this, you gotta have to know how to teach it from the science of a farmer. When people come to hear the teachings, they hard. They don't know that the teachings is right for them. So a farmer wouldn't just throw seeds on hard dirt. He turns that dirt, softens it up before he puts a seed. He said, if you can make people laugh, now they so open, then you drop hard truth right behind the laugh. So all y'all done swallow. So you can't lead the nation talking about you were just playing. FBI standing on every corner. They took a picture of every one of y'all. You was in here for more than 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's how long it takes the blood to go from the head to the feet back up to the head. So if you sit in here for that cycle, the truth is in you. You can't shake it.
Come on.
You ain't gonna never be able to shake this thing. Let me ask you a question. Some of you can't even remember the sermon of the preacher the last time you went to church. You can remember the choir. But you can't remember what the preacher said, but most of you will never forget this. That's right. Exodus. Come on, let us deal wisely with them lest they multiply. See, they scared of us multiply. Come on, let us deal what? Wisely. Wisely mean in a slick way, in a way unbeknownst to the person I'm about to perpetrate it on. Come on, let us deal wisely with them lest they multiply and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us and so get them up out of the land. So therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh, Bush, Trump, treasure cities. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. This is all about us. Right. Listen to this.
In closing, I would like to issue a warning to the president, a warning to the government, and a warning to the people of the United States of America. If I am in your mind before you of myself, if I am in your mind a hater, an anti-Semite, a wild-eyed radical, then you have nothing to fear from my presence. For I, like those who are actually like that, will go the way that history has decreed for that kind of person. However, if I am in reality in front of you by Allah's divine will, as an extension of the divine warnings given to you from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then be instructed that you would do well to leave me alone. You would do well to leave the Nation of Islam alone and to cease and desist from your evil planning against the future of the black people of America and the world. For the black people of America, though despised and rejected, have now become the people of God, and He has declared that He will fight you for their liberation. The government would be wise to heed the counsel of Gamaliel in the days of Paul and the early Christians, who advised the rulers of that day with these words, quote, "And so in the present case I say to you, stay away from these men and let them alone, for if this plan or action should be of men, it will be overthrown. But if it is of God, you will not be able to overthrow it, nor them, or else you may even be found fighting against God. So it is not wise for you to plan against Allah's servants, for by so doing, America, you're planning against yourselves. This warning is for President Bush, the government, the chiefs of staff, and the wise to reflect upon. the unwary citizens of America may not be harmed by the consequences of the wicked machinations of the United States government. You may come against me, which you are free to do, since we have no power to stop you. But I warn you that I am backed by the power of Allah and His Christ, and the power of that wheel in which I received this announcement. And the moment you attempt to lay your hands on me, the fullness of Allah's wrath will descend upon you and upon America. And before you will be able to establish your mockery of me, if that is what you wish to do, for what was revealed to me in the wheel, you will see these wheels, or what you call UFOs, in abundance over the major cities of America. And the calamities that America is presently experiencing will increase in number and in intensity, that you might humble yourselves to the warning contained in this announcement, or be totally destroyed from the face of the earth. This is a final warning. This is a final warning to you. The ball is now in your court. You may do with it, with me, and with us as you see fit. Thank you for your attention, and may Allah bless each of you with the light of understanding as I greet you in peace. Thanking you for being with us this morning. I greet you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, sir.
That was in Washington, D.C. At the seat of the power of the government. They didn't say nothing.
Okay.
Did you hear what he said?
Yes, sir.
He said, as soon as you put your hands on me,
Okay.
these UFOs that you call UFOs will be seen in the major cities of in abundance. It's gonna be like you ain't gonna know they there. They coming. They're coming. It's time, man. They are destroying us. And we got to get ready, because once you see them, you're going to be able to say, I heard that teaching. You're going to have to run and get your butt in these ranks. It's heavy. Either Minister Farrakhan is crazy and a liar, or he's telling the truth.
Come on.
I'm with him. He's telling the truth.
Yes, sir.
Now, America is about to go to war with Iran, and he gave America the stick of dissension. Minister went to Iran and warned the Iranian government and told them that Trump planned to start a war because Trump is in trouble.
Right.
Whenever a president is in trouble the way Trump is, they start a war. Because it's hard to remove a president while a war is going on. So they're going after Iran, but really it's the Nation of Islam. We are a thorn in their side. Just think if the nation wasn't here teaching this, our community is over. I know some of you may think God is with you, and He is.
Come on.
But he's got a servant that He's with more than anybody else I know. I close with this. In the Holy Quran, Surah 3, verses 117 to 119. This is God talking about right now. Look at this. All you who believe. All you who what? Believe. Take not for intimate friends other than your own people.
Intimate friends. Come on.
Now let me clarify. In the nation, people of color are family.
Go ahead.
That's right.
But white people, they divide us. In the nation, our teachings is for the black and the brown as well. Y'all got a little sad. Look at you.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother minister.
We don't want no nation without the Native Americans and our brown brothers and our
Go ahead.
Asian brothers. Give it up. All you who believe, take not the intimate friends other than your own people. They spare no pain to cause you loss. They love that which distresses you. Vehement hatred has already appeared from out of their mouths, and that which their hearts conceal is greater still. Indeed, we have made the messages clear to you today. I add that. If you understand. Lo, you are they who love them while they love you not. And you believe in the book, in the whole of it. And when they meet you, they say, we believe. And when them crackers are alone, I had it. And when they're alone, they bite their fingertips and rage against you. So die in your rage. Surely Allah is knower of what's in the hearts. I love it. If good befalls you, it grieves them. And if an evil afflicts you, they rejoice in it.
Come on.
And if you are patient and keep your duty, their struggle will not injure you in any way. Surely Allah encompasses what they do. Brothers and sisters, the only thing I say to you, you better come to this man.
Yes.
Hey. I thank you for listening. Next week, we're going to end this series, and then I'm going to invite into Los Angeles Brother Ilyad Rashad.
Yes, sir.
He's written a book on the UFOs. We're going to have a whole weekend workshop. We're going on the radio to invite all of the black, the brown, the red, and the yellow to come out. And you got to see this seminar. This brother got footage on the wheel that will blow you away. We're going to end with that. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you from the bottom of my, thank you for being patient. Thank you for not wanting to get up and leave and allowing me these few moments, even if we went a little long, to just drop this in your heart.
Yes, sir.
I thank Allah for the members of Mosque number 27. We are doing a magnificent job. God is using us on the east side of LA. All the hoods are coming together. Ago, we met with the Bloodettes and the Cripettes. Women, hard, killers, settle their differences. Sister sitting in the room with her arm broke in 4 places, and the sisters who did it was in front of her. She let it go. Some of us in the mosque won't even let stuff go. Got quiet. So if they come in here and you won't let go. Minister told me, he said, Brother White, it's going to get dangerous for us in the nation to have this teachings and not live it. That's right. And the people wake up and they come in here and see bull crap. That's right. They say they're killing everything up in here. Yes, sir. Because you got it and playing with it. That's right. And you won't even atone with each other. That's right. Holding on to crap that nobody even do nothing to you. You just bought it. You that damn crazy. I can tell by the way she looked at me. She talking about me. You can't tell nothing. You high. Stop drinking. A few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, the Florencia 13 came into a meeting with the entire East Coast Crips. And they dropped their rags and said the war is over. You should be happy about that. A 20-year war over. And one of the Mexican mafias, I'm not going to say his name, he had a phone in his cell, better than mine. He was under a blanket talking on FaceTime to all the Mexican gangs and said, no more killing of blacks and nobody better not break the rule. I'm on the phone with the brother. I'm in my FOI uniform. He said, much respect for the nation. That's right. He said, we respect the nation in here and out there. He said, I was in solitary confinement for 20 years and God spoke to me. And I realized that I'm killing my own people, black and brown as family. Mexican mafia too. He said, we need the nation's help. Stay with us. Yes, sir. In front of his homies. Yes, sir. And all them young killers, when the question was asking them, what's going to happen if you go against this rule? They said, you'll wipe us out. And the Crips accepted the same DP.
That's right.
It was beautiful, brothers and sisters. Beautiful. We had the Avalons, we had the kids, the Bloods and Crips settled their differences. Then we got a call from the 18th Street.
Yes, sir.
Who heard about what the Florencias did, and now the 18th Street want us to help settle the difference between them and the Bloods in the jungle. We reached out for the Bloods in the jungle. They said, we with it, but not yet, because we too divided as Bloods. So now all the Bloods went and met. We went to their meeting. They're settling all blood disputes. Man, so for you damn hypocrites who think we ain't doing nothing, just because they ain't coming here.
Come on.
This building is not the mosque, the street is the mosque. This building is where you come and plug into the spirit of the teaching so that you can handle the streets.
Tell the truth, brother minister.
I'm glad they ain't coming yet. We ain't ready. If 10,000 Bloods and Crips showed up tomorrow, what we gonna do with them? If all the prostitutes in LA came among some of you self-righteous headpieces, how you gonna handle it?
Shake us up.
What if she a butch and she like women and she hit on you at first? Boy, it got real quiet. Brother, all the gay brothers are coming. What? You can come switching, but you won't have to stop it. See, stop being self-righteous.
That's right. Say that.
I don't care if you're gay. If you're a liar, you're a sinner too. Sin is sin. There's no one sin greater than another unless you don't believe in God altogether. If God can save me, a dope dealer, a womanizer, a liar, a robber, a thief, what do I look like looking down on a brother that's gay? Like I'm better than him. Now, if I know he's gay, I know to stay on alert. I'm just going to be careful when I greet him and cheek to cheek him. Be a little careful. I'm going to be a little careful. I don't want him to slip and kick. If he slip and kick, it's going to be a left hook.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know how, come here, brother. You know how when we greet, we do like this. Yes, sir. And we don't do like this. Look, let me teach you the science of why we grieve like this. We've been among white people so unrighteous all our life. Your right hand represents the best side of you, the strength of you, the righteousness of you. Allah is one, so we start with the one hand. But I'm always keeping my eye on him. See, because I'm not trying to be interested, I'm interested in him.
Come on.
See? So that's one move. It's 5 movements. That's the star that's in our national.
Yes, sir. Come on now.
See? So this is movement 1.
Yes, sir.
Movement 2. I'm making sure he's on a solid foundation. 3.
Go ahead.
We go to our right. I went to my right. He went to his right. I'm at his left ear. He at my left ear. You all right, my brother? Yes, sir. I come back and I look at him. Then the last movement is 5.
Yes, sir.
You sure you all right, soldier?
Yes, sir.
Then we salute. And we out. Why do we do that? Why? It forces us to communicate again. It forced me to feel my brother again. Because I've been calling him a nigga. I've been riding up on the corner, looking at him all bad and ugly. At a distance, I'm throwing badass vibes at him. Oh, but when you come in here, he has to extend his hand. We put it to each other. And we find out we brothers, man. You ain't my enemy.
That's right, Muhammad.
Well, what do you do when you meet white people? Stand up on the shoulder. I do them like this.
Go ahead, Brad.
You got to earn getting close. I'm saying, white boy telling me all like this. I'm like, Brother how many of you believe what you heard today to be the truth and good for us? How many of you, this is your first time at a Nation of Islam meeting? Would you raise your hand? It's your first time here? Man, look at our family, look at our family. Love y'all. Thank you. Thank you. You said you believe what you heard today to be the truth. You should be fired up. How many of you want to learn more about this truth? Come on. And come on, stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up. Come on, let's run on time. Second time. Brothers come down, sisters come on home. Come on, sis. Come on, sis. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, brothers. Everybody. Come on, everybody. Everybody come. Even if you're in the nation, you should come again if you quit. I'm already in. You sure? We go check your record. Ain't this beautiful? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give a hand to these. You gotta have some nerve to stand up in the nation. Now, brother, my brother, I can't go without you. Bring him on. Come on, man. Bring him on. Y'all give that brother a hand. Thank y'all. This is very special to us because we believe that no nation can rise any higher than its woman. I want to let you know that this nation, the people in it is not perfect. The teachings is.
That's right.
So don't look for us to prove to you that this teaching worked through our actions because a lot of us are work in progress. Right. Even me. So if you catch me slipping, don't say the nation, just say he got weak. Hold up, minister. They're drinking. I'm going to go tell them. Yeah, we tell them in here. Yeah. Sisters, we have a class that's for women only. And in that class, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Master Farad Muhammad set it up so that women can go in an environment of their own in a spiritual way and close ranks with God. Yes. And in so doing, you will seek God first in all of his teachings and his righteousness. Then he'll add everything to you that you need.
That's right.
That's right.
Don't get carried away with nothing inside of here. We're all work in progress. It's good brothers, it's good sisters in here. But you'll only be able to see them when you become good. That's right. That's right. See? So in that class, you get to ask all of your questions. And there'll be a sister teaching you. No brother in the nation. Brother, can any of us go over in that class? No. You heard how they said that. You see them sisters with them headpieces that we come in there, we slip and fall in there. Them headpieces become chokeholds. These Muslim sisters, they don't want no 10 paces behind us. They really out front. That's right. Y'all don't play that, do you? No, see, that part. See, y'all didn't have to say it so convincing. You are not taught to submit to no dudes. We're not. So don't go for none of that crap you hear on CNN. Right. Sister, your name? Sister Lavina. Thank you, Sister Lavina. And you are? Sister Davella. Honored to meet you, Sister Davella. And you are? Sister Desire. Honored to meet you, Sister Desire. And you are? Sister Alicia. Come on, y'all. This is that class is every Saturday. If you can't make it, just get with the instructors and they'll build a class around the time that you can. Welcome to the Nation of Islam, and I turn you over to the hands of Sister Abdul. Give them a hand up. Oh, listen, what's your name, brother? Your name?
Justin Lewis.
Justin Lewis? Honored to meet you, brother. I was watching you when I was teaching, man. Your spirit kept me going. No, I appreciate you, G, and I thank you for coming out, brother. So I really appreciate it. This dude, I'm telling you, you just feel warriors. Every one of them. These ain't no, this group right here, ain't no jokes up here. You don't see it? That's right. You ain't in the street enough. The soldiers.
That's right, sir.
What's your name? D'Angelo? Honest to me. No, it's my pleasure to meet you, brother D'Angelo.
Yes, sir.
Man, if I had 10 like you, I'd slap the mayor. What's your name, super soldier? Alfred? Albert. Honored to meet you, brother Albert. Welcome home, good brother. Man, these youngsters. What's your name, soldier? Rodriguez? Yes, sir. Honored to meet you, brother Rodriguez. Thank you for coming home, brother. What's your name, soldier? Morris? Man, honored to meet you, brother. Thank you, man. I watched you. You wasn't playing. You was listening real strong. Kind of scared me for a minute. I could call on the law, say, I ain't scared of you. No, man. I felt you, Chief. I love warriors, man. I need more like you, bro. Man, what's up, Scope? Man, you gonna be the captain of the dreadlock squad. For real? No, I'm dreads. It's a great but dreadful day for white, not for white. Yes, sir. Just take his hand, choke their out of a white. Thank you for coming, brother. Thank you for accepting your own. What's up, OG? Man, what's your name, sir? Joseph. Honored to meet you, brother. Thank you, brother. You're in the right place. Right time, man. That's right. See, watch. We're going to reverse that aging. That's what this teaching do. What's your name, super soldier? That's right. Markel. Man, I'm honored to meet you, brother. Yes. Is that right? I can see it. Come on, he's your son? Go ahead. Man, what's up with you, soldier? What's your name? Marquise. Man, I heard about y'all. I so glad y'all with us, boy. Look, I want to come and ride with y'all. Holler at some of your homies. For real. On the tree, I don't care where it is. You know, even if they smoking weed, just tell them when I get there, put it out, put it out, put it out. That's right. No, that's right. I was at a prayer visit the other night. I got a contact. I was hallucinating. My wife had to pour water on me.
Yes, sir, brother. Minister.
Thank you, brother. What's your name, soldier? Tavon. Such an honor to meet you, brother. That's a good grip, too, brother. Yes, sir. I love these souls. Yes, sir. Brother, Monday night is your class. That class is taught by me and some of the other brothers. It's called FOI, meaning the fruit of Islam. That class helps you to become a producer. It helps you to become, to know who you really are, who God is, what our role is in the scheme of things.
Yeah, that's right.
See, our role, we got to be the military wing of our communities. Right. Nothing happen in our community that we don't control.
Yes, sir.
But in a real way, we've been doing it in a gangster way. Oh, but now we're going to be gangsters for God. Good. So I'd like to turn you over to the gangster making machine. Brother, who's going to take these brothers? Go with that brother right there with his hand up. Come on, y'all, go with his hand up. Tomorrow, they're going to give you some info now. Brother said, when does that class start? Sir. Now, brothers and sisters, we got a lot of work to do.
Yes, sir. A lot of work.
I got to get on these college campuses a little bit more.
Sir.
There's some good soldiers on them campuses, but they need help.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, we got to close ranks because we can't go nowhere without the college students. They're the codes.
Yes, sir.
So the Nation of Islam, we have sort of vacated the college campuses. So Brother Reason and all the young students in the nation, I'm sending y'all to the college campus. Go and get our people. There's some giants over there. Giants. But they also need help because some of them are acquiescent. Black consciousness will become strong again when we show up. So with that, brother, are you going to give the announcement? Thank you. Got two of them. We got a new birthday. We got a, wow, we're getting so many S's as of late. Okay. After that, wow. We have a brother that's just got his spiritual birthday today. Come on. This is exciting for members of the Nation of Islam. How many of you have heard of Malcolm X? Raise your hand. Have you ever asked yourself, what does the X mean? When I came in the nation, I was Tony Dixon. When I joined and went through all of my orientation and really found out who I was, and I was able to pass a test proving that I had the supreme wisdom and memory, I became Tony 3X. Meaning I was the third Tony in the Atlanta Mosque back in 1985 that joined the nation. There was a Tony 1X, a Tony 2X, I was Tony 3X. I worked so hard for my people that in 3 months, the minister noticed me and he changed my name to Muhammad. So today, we have a brother who has a spiritual birthday. He came to us a Negro. That's right. He came to us belonging to white people, but today he has given the white man their white consciousness back, and he has a black consciousness. He's given them back their name. He has an X. That X is a mathematical symbol. In the Roman numerals, it's a number 10. Meaning that 10 has a 0. Meaning when I lived a life as a Negro, I lived a 0 life. But when the one God, Master Prophet Muhammad, stood with me, he raised me to the 10th power. X meaning I've X'd out gangbanging, I've X'd out lying, I've X'd out stealing. I'm not a womanizer, I want to be righteous. That's what X means. X means now I live. I done gave up a death style for a lifestyle. And that's why when you join the nation, your age start reducing, it start going backwards. Huh? I'm almost in my mid-60s. I can run with the best of them for about a good 40 yards. Good 40 yards, Brother Reese. I can hold on to you for about 40 yards. And I just break into that old man trot. X represents life. X also represents I love black people to the degree that I will multiply myself time another brother or sister. So let me introduce to you this new baby, this new convert. His name was Brother Ronnie Wary. Come on up, Brother Ronnie. Where you at, Brother Ronnie? Brother Ronnie, come on up. Come on up. Come on, Brother Ronnie. Face your family, brother. Yes, sir. Come on, brother, sister. You should be up on your feet. Let me introduce to you. Come on now. This brother came in here on fire. Have a seat.
He's still on fire.
Yeah, he's still on fire. Man, teaching on social media.
That's right.
His name was Brother Ronnie Weary.
Come on.
He's now Brother Ronnie X Weary.
Yes, sir.
Very, very strong soldier.
Yes, right.
Also come to us out of the Ansar community.
That's right.
Which is a brother-sister community
That's right.
to the Nation of Islam, just like the 5%ers. They're like our little wayward children. But they all gonna come home.
Yes, sir.
This brother came, he was on fire, he's still on fire, and if he hold on to Islam and let God peel off the arrogancy, peel off not being humble, he's gonna be one of the great ones. I would like this time for the regional captain of the Nation of Islam on the Western region, Brother Captain Halim Muhammad, will come and pin on this brother. Having a pen put on his lapel. That means that he has delivered his 4 devils. The 4 devils of his consciousness. Once you get that pin on your lapel, you don't suffer from nationalism. You don't suffer from racism. You don't suffer from sexism. Now you can slip back into it, but you're not unaware. So now, when the wickedly wise see this on his lapel, they know he lived. When we go before the judge in court and they see these pins on us, they handle us different from you. Police don't bother us. We don't bother them. Sometimes. He can see now. He's wearing the sun, moon, and star.
Yes, sir.
Because that star, that red, represents freedom. He's free now to be himself. He's justified in his work by saving his people, and he's equal to any member in society, no matter where he go. If he go to China, he ain't no stranger. That's right. He's at home. When you go to Africa, when they see that, they're going to welcome him home. When you go to Mecca, they're going to bow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because nobody make a black man like the Nation of Islam. You can take it. Once he does this, he's humble. He's obedient. He's militant. He's courteous. He's kind. He's respectful. He can't call you to be. He have to say, hey, sister, I ain't your sister. I understand. But come on anyway, sister. With this on, he can't not get out the car and leave you in there. He got to open the door for you. I have a daughter, man. I got out of the car and left her in there. She called me on my cell phone. Nigga, you better come on. You ain't no moves. He's courteous.
Yes, sir.
He can't go to no bar with this on. He can't go to no strip joint with this on. Even the stripper gonna say, nigga, get out of here, brother. It's a little late. Ain't gonna get no ribs with this on. The brother gonna be saying, I thought you ever moved. I love it, man. I love being right. Welcome to the Nation of Islam. Thank you. I see Brother Isaiah, our brother. Stand up, Brother Isaiah. That's one of the strongest black students I've seen on the college campus. That brother right there. We got to get you some help, brother. I like them dreads. You look good, black, and strong, brother. Brothers from Cal State, Long Beach, and the brother right from Dominguez Hill. That's right. I forgot your name, soldier. What's your name? Man, stand up, brother. That brother we with you. We gonna send our best over there to help. Yeah, I'm too old. But no, we ain't never too old. This teaching is so young, but we gotta get y'all some help. I promise you, you're gonna see the Nation of Islam on all these college campuses. We don't care what white folks think. We're gonna come and teach our young people. With that, brothers and sisters, thank you. I'm going to bring up to who's going to close out? Who's going to close out? Who's doing that now? I guess you will. Who's going to announce it? It's okay. Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't fight. They about to go at it. You see?
Number love.
Number love?
Number love.
Number
For
love.
my brother.
Oh.
One for my brother, the one for myself.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you said that.
Praise.
Let's keep it going for love and